saw some really cool stuff, but it does feel like with that final clip, it feels like we might be short one panelist. Everybody, please welcome to the ballroom, Daniel Lloyd himself. All right, Eric, so welcome. Thank you so much for joining us. Can you at least tease how Daniel fits in with this series?
Well, Daniel has dealt with the Talamasca before in Interview with the Vampire. I had Justin Kirk and Molly Gill, where we had some really fun scenes in our second season. And so the Talamasca has been living on the edges of Daniel Malloy's consciousness, and now he's found out that the Talamasca is pulling him in deeper into this, well, their world. So that's what's happening.
All right, it seems like he probably knows too much now.
You can never know too much.
Yeah. All right, so I want to start with Nick. Going down the line, let's talk about your characters. Tell everybody who you're playing and what their thing is.
All right, so hello everyone. Nicholas. I play Guy Anatole. Firstly, I just want to say this is incredibly exciting for me, but also for everybody here. I'm sure you all seem like incredibly lovely people. So thanks for having us here. But yeah, I play Guy Anatole, who is a lonely, quite complex character who does and has lived kind of on the fringes of society. He's quite sensitive and gentle, but more of a skeptic about the rest of the world. He's come from a kind of a hardship growing up, adopted, and he's found himself, luckily, in Ivy League schools. And it isn't until our first episode that he meets this woman, Helen, from the Talamasca. And it's here that she tells him that his entire life has actually been a lie. And everything that he has worked towards is not real. It's being set up for him. He's being groomed by the Talamasca. And so he has to start again and realize that he has to go after who he truly is. And he has this one thing, this special gift, is that he has the ability to read minds. And that's quite a difficult thing for him to come to terms with, because I think for a lot of his life he believed that he had a mental illness, a debilitating illness. But when Helen tells him that that is actually his ability to read minds and that he can hear the voices of other people, he starts to use this skill as he moves forward on his search for who the hell he is. And that's where we start. That's where we meet Guy. And it's a pretty wild ride from then on, up to the 6 episodes. But he's a beautiful character, and I hope you enjoy watching him.
So I play a character called Olive, who is a master spy. She's a master of disguise and mystery, and she is Guy's handler. So when Guy comes to London, she's basically responsible for him and has to try and teach him the ways, which is it's a bit of a handful up the top. This poor boy's been thrown into everything, and she's brilliant, and she wants to make sure that her brilliance does not go to waste. And so she's a woman of the grey areas. And there's a lot of sort of grey in our story between good and evil, truth and deception, and you're never quite sure who's on which side.
Hi, I'm William Fichtner. I play Before I left to go to England, I was fitted for teeth. I really wasn't sure what that was about. I found out when I got there. Jasper is just an awful lot of fun. And he has issues with some people and elements of this story, and that's why he is there and he is going after them. Now, in the process, he meets some wonderful friends. Hey, Nick. it's quite a ride, and I can't wait for you to see it.
I play a character called Doris, and unlike Guy, she knows the supernatural world, and she doesn't trust the supernatural world. And so she's become a bit of a recluse with time, so she's chosen a specific coven that lives on the Regent's Canal in London. And that suits her very well because it's a place that's safe, it's a place for people who are kind, a sort of sorority. And then unfortunately, she gets yanked out of that world because of, because of the plot. That's all I'll say for now.
Because of the plot.
Because of the plot.
I do love that she was described as an old soul who lives on a houseboat.
Yes, it's rather unconventional, but she's very happy there.
Yeah. We also saw Mark and John. We saw in the clip a familiar face, Jason Schwartzman, who we get to meet very early on. But talk about this guy because he is a character.
When I was writing the first episode, I thought, well, if you had a skeptic or someone who didn't believe in vampires or witches, and were told that they were in fact true, the first question I would have is, well, can I meet one? And so I knew I had to write that scene. I wrote a scene thinking about how do you present your first vampire in the show, and I didn't want it to be too conventional, and so I started thinking way outside the box to the possibility of a kind of turncoat vampire who lives in a penthouse in the Dakota in New York City. And I said, well, that's already an odd vampire. And then I wrote the scene where he is quite literally bopping around the room, and he's quite entertaining and fashionable. And then we thought, who are we going to get to play this character? And I had worked with Jason Schwartzman before on Saving Mr. Banks, and so I ran it by these guys, and they liked the idea. And so I called Jason and said, hey, do you want to play a vampire? And he said, when do I show up? He was down for it from day one, has continued to be so excited. He just texted me 20 minutes ago and said, tell me all about it. So he was a joy to work with, and he makes a great Burton.
Nicholas, how was it? Because Guy is he's a little bit reserved. He is obviously a little meek in this new world. And then to come up against the characters that Jason plays and Eric plays, like how is filming that like? Getting this guy surrounded by these way bigger than life characters.
Well, I think as we know from what I've said, he has a skeptical outlook on life. So when he comes into contact with Burton, which Jason plays, Jason really has this joie de vivre, this kind of large-than-life personality that is very hard to decipher if it's kind of showmanship or it's legitimate vampirism. So I find that it was quite a fun way to play it because it could just be smoke and mirrors, this guy could just be a loony, or he could genuinely be a vampire. So that's where he makes that decision. It isn't until he starts doing things that are accurate as a depiction of a vampire, that you begin to realize that this guy actually could be legit. That kind of playfulness that Jason brings to it compared to, say, what Eric brings to it, which is a very dark and quite intense feeling, to perform is like chalk and cheese. Eric is an incredible actor, as you all know, but that was a hell of a scene. I think we had a good time. We had a good time.
We had a great time. Great time. I mean, most of the time was me being in character, so we didn't get to really know each other. We got to know each other here, but it was. You are a thorn in my side. So that was what our experience. That was that.
Guy also seems to be a thorn in Jasper's side. From the clips we just saw, and you mentioned being fit for teeth, I'm assuming he is a vampire?
I have no idea what you're talking about, Michael.
He's a thorn in my side today.
no, you know what? That is truly part of the joy of an experience like this, because the world that these guys have taken us in, I mean, I've never played anything like this. I mean, and I don't think you've ever played anything like that before interview, right?
I'm doing things I've never done before. I love it. It's a great way to fly.
It's a great way to fly. So each script that came out, it was just a joy to see where we were going to go. I did notice whenever there were exterior shots, I was like, damn it, I'm going to be up late tonight. Because I'm not shooting during the day.
Yeah.
That's true. As soon as any vampire was introduced into this show, we stopped shooting days. We started shooting 5 p.m. to 5 a.m. And it was a hell of the night.
It sure was.
Well, is Jasper, given his proclivities, and his clearly maybe not nicest side, connect him to otherworldly creatures?
I'm not sure of the question.
Is Jasper linked to something other than vampires?
I love San Diego. I love Comic-Con. I was here when a film called Drive Angry, and I think that answers the question.
Okay, there you go. Okay, there you go. All right, so in the clip, Celine Trailer definitely doesn't seem to be one of the fans of the Talamasca. Does that in any way put her in like the crosshairs with Helen, or even for Guy's attention?
Well, she, not in this series, but that's because she stays clear of the Talamasca. I mean, she knows, she sees them coming, and she doesn't want anything to do with them. So if she can avoid them, she does. Yes, they will be sort of, they almost meet.
Okay.
But yes, yeah.
But what if Guy is connected to Talamasca and he's Guy?
Right. Yes, but Guy, here's the thing with Guy. Guy is new in the Talamasca, and Guy thinks that he's understood the whole supernatural world, that he's got it figured out, and that he's smarter than everyone, but he actually isn't. So, he's not normal Talamasca, and I think that Doris sees that in him. There's something the Talamasca agents has that she detects that she doesn't like. And she does like him. She sees that, he's not cut from the same cloth, which is why she, tries to warn him. Doesn't work.
Doesn't work.
No.
We would have no show.
We would have no show.
She's like, don't trust him. He's like, oh, okay, I'm going back home.
Every time Doris tells him not to do something, he does it.
Yeah, you described Guy quite funnily. What did you say?
Oh yeah. I was like, because I was trying to figure out why is she wasting all her time over this guy? And I was like, well, do you know how she sees him? She sees him as a toddler who's running into a burning building. And you could not know the toddler. You're not going to let them run in. If you've got a soul, you've got to help him. So that's why she helps guys.
You've got a soul.
Maisie, this is not your first Comic-Con. This isn't even your first panel at this Comic-Con. You've been here for multiple things, but DC's Legends of Tomorrow, which have you been going in the ropes of Comic-Con?
Have I, guys? I've done a good job. I feel like I've been sort of like, I'm like, it's okay, don't worry. And I'm going to kind of walk them through the steps of everything. And you guys have listened. And that's okay. Did I do a good job?
Yeah, you taught us how to stand in front of a camera, which
Okay, some lessons on that.
So you were part of the Arrowverse. Now you're part of the Immortal Universe. Is it just your thing to join worlds of rabid fan bases?
I mean, what an incredible gift, to be honest. A fandom, what I love about you guys is that you are so generous with your love, you're so passionate, you're so creative. When there's things that you don't like in the story, you go and write them yourselves. I love reading the fan fiction, it's great, all the shit that you guys come up with. It feels like such a family, and it's such a gift to actually to meet you and look at you all, and I can't wait for you guys to meet us and to see this show. I really think you guys are going to love it.
Building off of Eric being here, how do you make sure that each of the shows in the universe stay distinctive yet connected? Do you look at it as like all like they're your kids and like, you know, this one's like this way, this one's into sports, this one's into reading, this one's into burning down houses?
I think I've got 3 of the last ones. First of all, we have wonderful showrunners, and they all know, each one knows what she or he is doing. And one of the things we've done recently is made sure that each separate show has all the episodes either that are going to be filmed, or have just been filmed, or have yet to be cut together, or even being written about, so they know what's going on in the other world. At the same time, I never want them to feel connected in any, once again, as I say, in any kind of artificial way. And so it's very hard to connect Interview with the Vampire, Mayfair Witches, and then to now the Talamasca. But I'm telling you, they are. Yep. And I think we sense it in you. This man knows this universe better than just about anybody, and you know how separate.
Yes. Oh, 100%. Yeah. And this is, again, like I was saying backstage, like this show, I feel like I'm in that world. Like you could absolutely expect to see like Rowan Mayfair getting a coffee behind Guy at a shop in London, and then like seeing a poster in the hall, like this alleyway for Lestat's tour. You absolutely correct. And I will say this also. This is probably the scariest of the 3 shows. This definitely has the most scares in the first few episodes that I've seen than the others. This is definitely, you do not hold back.
You hear that?
Yeah. And they're good scares. They're not like the cheap scares, like a cat jumping out of a fridge. One of the stars, Elizabeth McGovern, she couldn't be here today, but her character, Helen, is my new obsession. I'm going to be her for Halloween. So can we talk about what Helen is and the relationship she has with Guy, because it is so fascinating.
Yeah, Helen's, yes, and Helen, Elizabeth would be here. She's doing a play. She sends her love, and she's amazing in the show. Helen is somebody who is a leader in the Talamasca. She runs the New York Mother House. And has a long-standing relationship with Guy. And I think what is fascinating about her, though, is behind this facade of strength and power, and she has that in spades. She's somebody who has a little bit of a tender spot. It's something that she is looking for, and something that she is yearning to find. And I think that for all of us, she's kind of the way to the show in terms of a big idea that I think runs across Interview, runs across Mayfair, and now our show, which is people who have a fractured family, or who are trying to reunite with someone they love. You know, whether it's vampires who live for 900 years, or somebody who's trying to connect with a husband or a wife or a child, that through all these series, people trying to put back together something that's fractured. And I think we all had fun exploring that. I mean, I think the kind of nice irony of that is we all became sort of our own, collaborative family. We put a family together and making the show. And Helen kind of sits at the top of all that, and is the one who's driving a push to really put something back together. And I think it's a little bit of a mystery that you guys will see in episode 1, but it's one that really, really, really pays off in the end, and I think you guys will love it.
You're gonna love Elizabeth. She's outstanding.
Oh,
I wish
so good. I'm sorry.
She's really, really, really good. And part of it for me is I've always been a fan, and she's always, not always, but a lot of times has played a character who is dependable, really smart, really pretty. In every movie she's done and nominated, performances and things like that, you go, this is a dependable person. This person would not lie to you.
And
Chill now.
Yeah. And so watching the episodes, I was like, oh, she's maternal and malevolent. Like, I want her to hug me, but I want to see her hands. And then sitting here, I was like, oh, please tell me we get her on screen with Victor.
You'll have to wait and see.
because they're such different characters, but like I feel like they both carry an immense amount of power. All right, I'm ready for that. And we have a first look at Elizabeth in action. We have a clip from the one of the episodes, so let's roll that.